Yo, how's it going guys? KPR here bringing you guys another video, and today I'll be ranking all the lethals for Black Ops 6 multiplayer. And I feel like I've been using them for quite a while now. I at least have over 150 uses on each one of these, and honestly, going back and ranking all of these, I just was like, bro, one of these deserves to be higher, because in my head I already had a list down and I wrote it down as well on my phone. But then I had to rearrange it a bit because I was like, bro, this is way worse. It does not deserve this spot at all. There are only 9 lethals in the game, so I'm going to be ranking them from worst to best. And with that being said, let's get right in with number 9. Probably the worst one. I don't even know why you would run this. I honestly thought it was going to be decent since it was alright in the previous CODs when it was added. But it's going to have to be the drill charge. Honestly, it does not feel that good to use. Sometimes the drill charge takes way too long to activate, and it gives the enemy so much time to react to it because of that. And they're just gonna be like, yo, why is there a red thing right there? I'm gonna get away from it. I don't want to get murked by it. And even in most of those instances where you do catch them off guard with that, they're going to be running flak jackets, so you're not even going to be able to get the kill with that drill charge. You'll at least have to shoot them once in order to actually secure that kill, but the tracker, let's say you go on your combat record, it's not going to actually track it there, but it will track it for the challenges in case you guys are trying to do those as well. I only got 11 kills with it, so I didn't even get like gold with the medals. I was just like, bro, why would I use this? I have over 200 uses on this drill charge, and I do go to an enemy that's camping, but it will not always track it. The only good thing about the drill charge is that if you get a direct hit, you'll be able to instantly mark them with it, even though they're running flag jacket, because if you guys play the previous CODs, it's going to do that as well, and then it'll shoot out the drill charge as well. That's the only redeeming quality about it, but too bad it's still nowhere near good. It's just not really too useful, and in some surfaces you can't even pierce it. It's really random because sometimes there's the window in Nuketown that you can't pierce, so it'll shoot it back out your way, so it could accidentally murk you. So yeah, this is definitely just the worst lethal in the game right now. If they give it a buff, maybe it could go up, but they have to give it such a big buff where you just stick into the wall just since it kills everyone. That's the only way it's going to move up one tier. Now, moving on to number 8, I'm pretty sure a bunch of you people already guessed this if it wasn't last, but it will have to be the throwing axe. Honestly, none of the throwing axes from Treyarch have really been good at all these previous CODs. I feel like the last good one may have been in Black Ops 2. I feel like Infinity Ward is way better with the throwing knives because they feel a bit faster, and you're going to be able to pull them out when you melee as well, in case you guys didn't know that. But throwing axes, tomahawks, whatever you guys want to call it, in this game, they just feel way too slow to throw out. With fast hands, it doesn't do anything. You actually have to run the strategist specialty in order to actually throw things out faster, or at least it feels that way. So yeah, just really horrible. I don't know why they don't buff the bruiser by making it like with tomahawks you're going to be able to throw them out faster and farther. That would be much better, but they don't want to do that. Bruiser is also just a horrible perk, but it works with the tomahawks in case you guys want to run it, but I would not suggest running it if you're running the, I forgot what specialty it's called, the red specialty, the enforcer specialty, because it actually overrides it. It gets overridden by bruiser, and if you guys ever used it, it is way slower than the specialty. So yeah, tomahawks just really bad. I use them, I think I have 1,000 uses on them just because I was like, nah, come on, maybe it's just a skill issue on my end, but no, dude, you're just going to suffer a lot. I did not like these throwing knives or throwing axes at all. I feel like no one's going to disagree on me on that end, because the only good thing it could be maybe when you're trying to bank shot, make a video with it, but other than that, you're not really going to be using them much. You're just going to switch to a different good lethal, you know? Now, at number 6, we got the Molotov. This is the one I decided to put much lower on the list. I actually had it 2 tiers up higher, but this is just so horrible going back and using it once more, because it takes 10 hits if they walk on it on the ground to actually murk them. But if you get a direct hit on them, the fire won't actually go away, and there's no way to survive it, which is good. But dog, I've only gotten hit directly 2 times, And I have over 100 hours easily on this game. So only being direct hit by the Molotov 2 times is nothing. No one is running this at all. It's just really dog water. Bro, they've made it fall from grace, because I remember a bunch of people running this. I'm on for 3, I'm on for 2. But now no one runs this. As soon as they pick it up because they think it's going to be like the previous CODs, they drop it right away because it's nothing like it. It's just so horrible. I thought I was going to be able to use it to hold points or hold angles on someone, but no, bro. It takes 10 hit markers, dog. That's way too many hit markers. Maybe it took like 5. Maybe it'd be usable. But even then, it's just a horrible lethal. I would not suggest running this at all. Yeah, I believe that's all I really gotta say for the Molotov. So horrible to use. Do not take it unless you just want to have a bad experience playing this game. Now that we're done with the horrible lethals of the game, I would say anything below this or even this one, they're practically C tier or above, and this is definitely low C tier though. Now at number 6 we got the Thermobaric Grenade. If you guys used this in the previous COD, you will know this is definitely nerfed compared to those CODs. But the difference is that this one will actually get you kills more times than not, because the Molotov just takes way too long to actually get those. Now for the Thermobaric Grenade, it actually releases a cloud if it's able to land on the ground for a bit, and that cloud slows down the enemy, which is kind of good in order to actually trap them, and then it'll blow up. I believe the fuse timer is around 6 seconds, and the previous ones it was a bit lower, which is why it's not really that good, but you can still use it. This one was actually really hard for me to debate on, because I remember it just being way more horrible when I first used it, when I unlocked it, but using it again, it did not really feel that way. I actually got a decent amount of kills with it, but it's still just not that good. It's like alright to take. There are 5 better options than to taking this, so that's why I put it down at number 6. It could have been higher if the fuse timer was lower, but it's around 6 seconds. That's way too long. The gas cloud can be useful, but all it does is really stun, and I'm pretty sure if they're running tac mass, they're going to be able to avoid it. So what's the point of taking that, you know? That's all I really gotta say for a Thermobaric Grenade. Definitely C tier and deserves a spot at number 6. Now this one was actually really painful to put down this low, because it's actually the blast trap. I have over 4,000 uses with this, and I believe I have almost 1,000 limbs with it. So yeah, it was just really painful to put down this low, and there's just a huge reason. I ran into so many people with the shadow perk. This would have probably been number 1 in my opinion, just because how useful it was. But it was actually good that they added a way to counter this, since there was no counter to it at all besides using the scrambler. And if you guys don't know, field equipment just takes way too long at times to get, so you're not going to be able to counter it the entire time compared to the perk now that they added. They basically just massacred my boy. I'm just not gonna be running this as often. If I see people running shadow with it, if I see someone just running through my blast trap, I'm like, bro, all right, I'm gonna switch it to a different lethal. But if you like playing OBJ a lot, I would suggest taking this. Definitely the best one for holding down objectives, whether that be domination, control, or hardpoint. This will probably be your number 1 best friend if you don't have any homies to play with, since most random people you play with will not like hopping onto the hardpoint or trying to capture any of the flags. It is truly annoying, so that's why I really gravitated towards the blast trap, since I'll be able to cover my back, or I'll be able to cover an angle, so I don't have to worry about it later. Which is why it also devastated me once they added the shadow perk. But enough of that, my dudes. Let's get on to number 4. Hopefully none of you guys are surprised by this, but I would have to say number 4 is the C4. I also used this a bit while I was leveling up at first, and it was one of the better lethals I was using for sure. There's only one way to truly counter it, and that's by using the scrambler. You're also able to chuck it decently far, and you can also use it for holding down objectives, so it's pretty good, and it's not going to be countered by shadow, since you're going to have to be the one to detonate it. Also, it takes about a second to actually be able to blow up the C4 after you chuck it, but If you want to be a bit more strategic about it, you can put it down on a point, or you could wait for someone to come by just in order to catch them off guard. It also has a pretty big explosion radius, so you're going to be able to get hit markers on people on the outer layers, and you'll be able to one-shot them after that if they were actually able to survive it. The biggest con about the C4 is the throwing speed, so if you guys want to try and avoid that, you guys can run the strategist specialty, which allegedly says it does speed it up a bit. I wasn't running that, I was running the enforcer specialty, but either ways, it felt much better to use the C4. I was able to capture points back, I was able to catch the enemies off guard, and the black smoke it leaves behind helped me way more than I thought. I would say anything after this is definitely A tier, and number 1 will definitely be S tier. Hopefully none of you guys are surprised by it. But at number 3, we got the impact grenades. I personally enjoyed using these much more than any other lethal, but I know it is definitely not the best, but it is much more fun to use since I was getting a bunch of kills with it. I was able to direct hit a bunch of people, and if you guys don't know this, if you direct hit them with the impact nade, you will actually instantly kill them. They will not be able to survive whether they're using flak jacket or not. In the match though, I would say I had more fun because a bunch of people weren't running that perk at all. So I was able to actually get a bunch of kills with it, and it was just a really fun time using the lethals. The good thing about it is that, of course, since it's impact, the only way to actually counter it will be the trophy system. Scrambler's not going to do anything to it. And this lethal should really be used more when you get a few hit markers. However, they hide behind a corner, you get out the impact nade, and then you throw it over their way. More times than not, you'll be able to murk them that way. But if you're good at aiming, you'll be able to actually insta-kill them whether they are full health or not. I honestly thought this lethal wasn't too good when I first ran it with the, well, I forgot what the loadouts are called, but default loadouts, there we go. So I thought it was horrible at first when I first used it. I was like, bro, why would I take this? It barely does any damage and stuff like that. But using it again just made me realize how good of a lethal this actually is. So yeah, that's why it deserves the number 3 spot. For me personally though, fun wise, definitely the best one. But in the other 2 that are coming up are definitely much better statistically. By the way, I get freaking murked by them like nothing. And spammed at left and right as well. Now, at number 2, this was actually really hard to debate, but there was just one little factor that made me put this at number 2, and that will have to be the Semtex. The good thing about it is that, just like the drill charge, if you stick someone with it, they won't be able to survive it, so even if they have flak jacket, you'll be able to murk them. The reason why it's at number 2 is because not only are you able to throw it farther, but you're also able to throw it much faster compared to the other lethals. I believe it's only comparable to one other one. The fuse time as well is between 4 to 5 seconds if I'm not mistaken. Blast radius good too. It's just a good lethal you take all around. You can't go wrong with taking this at all. In all the CODs, I would say the Semtex was always good. There's not really anything bad to say about the Semtex as well. So that's why we'll get the number 2 spot, since it's also the top spammed lethal at me. Now my dudes, for the number 1 spot, we got the Frag Grenade. It is just so annoying. It is just way too good. I don't like it whatsoever. And the reason why I put it in the number 1 spot instead of the Semtex is because you're able to cook the frag. Bro, if you know how to cook these properly, you will be catching enemies off guard and you'll be pissing them off the entire game. You practically won't let them even play at all. And you guys know what the other dumb part is that the Semtex truly had over the frag, is that you can actually direct hit them with this and it'll do some damage and it could actually kill you. The explosion afterwards murks you. How is that even like fair? It's just too good. I don't know why they allowed that to happen. It happened to me so many times where the frag would hit me and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna survive it. Then the frag explodes and I'm just dead as well. I'm just like, bro, what? Nothing shot me. That is some bull crap. And I always forget that. So it is just too good. Direct hitting someone, then they're blowing up almost right after will not only catch them off guard, but it will also murk them. Some people may argue that fast hands counter it, but honestly, who's running fast hands? I have barely seen anyone running it, and if you cook it good enough, they probably won't react fast enough to actually pick up the frag in order to reset the fuse timer. So yeah, definitely number one spot. Alright my dudes, I believe that's all I really have to go over with all the lethals. Just the frag just being totally insane. Impact grenade was probably the most fun I had with out of all the lethals, but definitely not the number one spot. It is definitely A tier though, in my opinion. I just don't like that the first three lethals that I mentioned are practically unusable and they're just not fun at all to take. But let me know down in the comments how you guys would rate it or what you guys think about my rankings. If you guys think something else should have been in a different spot, let me know. I will probably be making another rankings list, but I don't know of what, if I should go with the tacticals or with the weapons and sets, since, you know, I've had a lot of times with them as well. I'll probably be doing that, so watch out for those videos. Hopefully the match is going much better for you guys and you guys are done with the camo grind. You guys are moving on to a different type of grind in the game. I'm still going to be playing it for quite a while since I'm still having a lot of fun with it. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you guys are enjoying the content, please subscribe. With that being said, have a good day and stay safe. Later.